Hello. I have a message for the people of the United States of America. I left the Union. I, Adam Alexander Brisbine, left the Union in the United States of America. How did I do it? Can anyone just do that? Wouldn't you be a traitor? Right? Well, it just so happens there are certain circumstances where this can happen. Very specific circumstances. I left the Union because the United States of America never upheld our unalienable rights since its inception. Go back and read the Declaration of Independence, written by Jefferson. We have a right to alter or abolish any government that doesn't uphold certain unalienable rights: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, I think we all know that certain things wouldn't exist if America was upholding our unalienable right to life. Execution would not exist. It would not exist. Abortion would not exist. Lethal force by police would not exist if America was upholding our unalienable right to life. So I left the Union without a drop of blood. How can anyone do that? I am also First General of the World Army. And I control the military of every national military in the world. I am higher than every general of every national military. How did this happen? Well, someone needed to step in to stop World War III on a regular basis. Did you ever hear about me? No, it's happening behind the scenes. Back in May 2004, it may sound kind of crazy, but I was visited by extraterrestrials. I had my first extraterrestrial encounter, May 2004. I was given 2 messages from outer space. Now, did SETI at home figure this out? Shooting off out into the stars, trying to find sounds in the cosmos? No. I'm right here on the internet telling you what they told me. I have 2 messages, okay? Do not punish. Do not punish each other. Do not punish the world, the planet. Do not punish. And we seem to do an awful lot of that. I gave them permission to shoot down our intercontinental ballistic missiles at their own discretion. And that's what you saw when Falcon 9 exploded with SpaceX and the Facebook rocket. Okay? From time to time, we are protected by star visitors. They shoot down our missiles when we try to blow each other up, okay? I gave them permission as the leader of the world. Take me to your leader. I said it was me. I said I'll be that guy. Okay? Are you going to hear about it on the news? No, you're not. Does the military know that their missiles are being taken down by star visitors? Yes, they do. And if you don't believe that, you type in Larry King and you'll figure it out. Okay? Now, what else does this mean? That nations can't shoot down extraterrestrials anymore. For violating your airspace, you want to find out what their technology is, and you feel like shooting them down. Well, you can't do that anymore. Okay? Or you're going to go up against the World Army. What is the World Army? It's the military of every single nation in the world. Every sound nation in the world. What do? We stand up against rogue nations. The world stood up against Hitler. Germany was a rogue nation. They were going around taking over other nations, okay? Now, what I'm trying to tell you is you can't do that anymore, even if you're America, with the strongest military in the world. I'm trying to tell you, America, that you can't use Americans as cannon fodder for Israel's paranoia about Iran. Okay? You can't fight Iran this time, okay? You can't just bludgeon countries into submission and bomb them because they don't want to use the petrodollar. There's two things in this world that seem to be bigger than any one individual. And what are those? Big oil and nuclear. How do we stop big oil and nuclear? How does any one person stop that? Hydrogen on demand. If you want to fly a plane across the ocean, you could run out of fuel. If you used water as your fuel, you could just scoop water out of the ocean and you would never run out of fuel. Right there, hydrogen on demand is superior to gasoline. Okay? Just that knowledge alone kills big oil overnight. Okay? You can outfit your cars quite easily to accept water instead of gasoline. Just do the research. Figure it out. You can do it. Now, is protesting the Dakota Access Pipeline really the answer? No. Hydrogen on demand is. How do you stop nuclear when every nation in the world takes pride in having the bomb? Well, that's why you need a world army. Nuclear is obsolete. Right there with hydrogen. Hydrogen can run a home generator. Hydrogen can do things like that. Okay? Solar can do things like that. Wind, peltiers can do things like that. Okay? That's how. And nuclear is a horrible risk to our planet. I think we know that. I had 2 messages from star visitors. The first message was that the Earth has too many reactors. Think about that a second. I got that message back in May 2004. We had plenty of time to listen to that message before Fukushima killed the ocean. So, yeah, the Great Barrier Reef is dead. Whales and dolphins, all kinds of sea life is just washing up dead. You kill the ocean, life on land isn't going to be far next. That's something you need to remember. You can't just let loose on the earth and plunder the earth like this anymore, and thinking that nuclear is some great technology, okay? It's an obsolete idea. The only bomb that should have went off was the first test. That should have been the only bomb. Now, Nagasaki was a mistake. Hiroshima was a mistake. Learn to say sorry. Sorry, Japan. I will say that on behalf of America. Sorry, Japan. We're sorry for the Japanese internment camps. Okay? If Muslims are going to be the new Jews, hey, in Cascadia, that's not the case. I left the Union. Okay? Donald Trump, you cannot supersede me with the U.S. Supreme Court anymore. I left the Union 2 years ago because America failed to uphold our rights. No, you can poison my drink, you can burn my neighbor's house down, you can burn Cascadia Fruit Shippers down in Wenatchee just because of its name. You can do the biggest apple dumps in history. You can burn our state at random all over the state, the Olympic rainforest for the first time in history. But you can't supersede me, okay? I am president. And yeah, the people didn't elect me, but I'm not trying to kiss their ass. I left the Union myself, okay? Why am I not trying to kiss the public's ass for their votes? Because the public is just ignorant. Why is the public ignorant? They're not taking care of their own public health and safety anymore. They're too dumb. They've been socially engineered to be dumb. Since 1939, we've had literally rat poison, aka fluoride, put into our municipal water because Gerald Cox, he didn't know how to get rid of aluminum waste that was illegal, so they convinced politicians that it's good for bones and teeth. Now, how stupid are you? You've had rat poison in the water since 1939, and you haven't done anything about it. When you haven't done anything about it for over 10 years, I call that an idiocracy, like the movie. You're just going to end up being stupid with garbage avalanches, okay? Now, what we have in Cascadia is not a democracy because of that reason. The founders loathed a democracy, actually. What we have here is rule by the most intelligent. That is called a newocracy. What I want is a hybrid between the world's smartest individual and the people. We'll call that a nodocracy. We have a nodocracy. Okay? What do I want to do with Cascadia? How can I lead the world by example and by inspiration instead of intimidation? You can't just bludgeon every country to be like yours. That's what Hitler tried to do. You can't do that. You have to inspire them. You have to show every country a better way of doing things. Now, what would be better? Robots are going to take your jobs. You have to have socialism that people can opt out of. What do I mean by that? Redistribution of wealth on a bell curve. Why do we want that? We want a living wage because when the poor are desperate, that creates crime. The poor will steal to get what they need. They will steal things at gunpoint. They will get desperate. You have to have redistribution of wealth on a bell curve because it's the poor who actually buy things to move the economy when the rich merely pool assets, stagnating it. When you stagnate the economy, that creates devaluation of your currency, and you will have to print more money, and that will create inflation. This is a microcosm for the whole world to adopt. These 3 words, do not punish. Very powerful words. Now, what do we do with criminals? We punish them. Now, ask yourself, do you punish a police dog to get it to do what you want? No, you don't punish your police dog. You reward it. Then it does what you want. So we need to start rewarding people instead of punishing them. We are living in the dark ages to these beings, okay? Socially, we are still in the dark ages. And your judicial system is corrupt. It's a monster that feeds itself. It loves to prey on the vindictive side of human nature, the worst side of human nature, and it harvests off those people that want to see people burn on the electric chair. We don't listen to them anymore. They are not our guide for government, okay? Now that might make you money, but we're not going to have all these excess laws. If you want to be the land of the free and the home of the brave, be like me in Cascadia. Where we're going to have real freedom. And no, it's not anarchy. If you kill somebody, I'm going to kick you out. I'm going to kick you out of the country and you're never going to come back. If you run a protester over with your car and your callous car culture, I'm not going to make a law that says that's okay. I'm going to kick you out. Get the fuck out of Cascadia. We're going to take care of our land. And the former government can't sell my trees. You can't shoot my citizens. You can't blow away this 17-year-old girl. if she has a knife anymore. You just can't do that. You're not upholding her unalienable right to life. Now, cops have got away with way too much. Oh, you want to have cameras on the cops? Well, they just shut off the camera, shoot an unarmed man, and plant a gun on live television. Okay? That's what's going on. So, yeah, incarceration is merely torture. And torture is banned. You think you can torture people and just get away with it? Call that justice? Under the guise of justice? Times are changing. Your generation is just going to be thrown off. All your lawmakers are older than me. You don't see any young people lining up to be in your government. That's not our generation, okay? They don't represent us. Now, the baby boomers, they've just been ripping us off. They're our landlords. They're landlords. And our culture sucks because our parents they care more about money than they care about their children. I want to live in a world where we provide for our children, where we build houses for our children instead of charging them rent, instead of making them take out a mortgage after years of rent that is 4 times what you paid for the house. Now, the toll roads are banned. You ever drive through Chicago and there's potholes all through the road between 9 tolls that are built like fortresses? What do you think that is? Do you think they care about the roads with your money? No. They're building up checkpoints. A super police state. Do you want to live in that world? Do you want to go that way? You don't have to pay a dime on tolls, okay? According to me, I'm the president. Do you think the Department of Transportation really needs your money like that? Charging you huge ass fees for your ignorance? They're charging people who don't even go through the tolls. Taxation without representation. They rebelled over tea bags that were just slightly hiked, okay? Look what you put up with, America. Look how far you've been bending over. You've been bending over for a long time. And I'm not putting up with that, okay? I'm first general of the World Army. You can't intimidate me. Cascadia is the first real international neutral zone. And Americans need somewhere to go. And America knows that. They need somewhere to go when their foreign policy has been hijacked by Israel's paranoia to go after Iran. Okay? Now, why have the U.S. troops had the highest suicide? Because the war on terror, since its inception, since 9/11, has always been a fraud. It's a fraud. There's a lot of people who don't know what happened on 9/11 yet. And that's okay. It's it's cognitive dissonance for you to accept that your own government could be complicit when Dick Cheney is in the PEOC too early. When nanothermite samples were found at ground zero, the smoking gun, the actual evidence for explosives used for the demolition, as described by Professor Stephen E. Jones, who lost his job telling you. Now, what do we do after the war on terror is a fraud? Al Qaeda, ISIS, we're so scared. We're so fucking scared, right? I'm not. I know who's behind it. You've got John McCain backing that ass up.